everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I thought I would try something a little bit different, and instead of reviewing makeup products, I'll be trying to follow a makeup tutorial by one of my favorite makeup artists, Hung Vanngo. So if you're interested in seeing me attempt bridal makeup, then just stick around. So for context, I decided to choose this particular video as my first makeup tutorial attempt because I actually will be getting married later this year. So I'm very excited about that, and recently I've been thinking a lot about whether I want to do my own makeup or hire a makeup artist to do it for me. Of course, as is evident from this channel, I really love makeup. I really love doing makeup on myself, and I like to think that I'm pretty well versed in doing makeup on my face. But of course, I am not a makeup professional, I am not a makeup artist, and so I keep going back and forth on this point. And so I thought it'd be fun to try a tutorial from an actual expert makeup artist and see if I can pick up any tips and tricks, and also just to see how I do in terms of recreating a bridal makeup look. So this video is entitled Effortless Bridal Makeup. And in case you guys don't know who Hung Vanngo is, he is a celebrity makeup artist who also has a very popular YouTube channel. He's worked with celebrities like Selena Gomez, Jennifer Lopez, Miranda Kerr, so he is quite a prominent makeup artist, and I just really love the looks that he does. There's something always so eye-catching and captivating about the pictures of his makeup looks. I feel like they often look simple on the surface, but they're just so perfected and well executed that you can't help but just stare at the images. And so I've been a really big fan of his work, and so I'm really excited to try out some of his techniques today. So without further ado, let's get into this makeup tutorial. So I've got my AirPods in, so let's start watching this video.
To start every makeup, I always prep the skin. For makeup for wedding, I prep the skin even more so, just because you want the makeup to last all day.
So I do have the Summer Fridays lip balm. I have this in a different shade than what Hung Vanngo is using, but I'll go ahead and use this guy, which is in the Vanilla Beige formula. So I've already done my skincare steps. I do that the first thing in the morning when I get up, so hopefully my skincare has already settled into my skin.
Primer I'm using today.
Ooh, okay, primer time. So I usually never use primer, but I pulled out this one from Dr. Brandt. This is their Pores No More Luminizing Primer. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this, and like Hung Vanngo is doing, I'm just gonna kind of put it on my T-zone. And fortunately, I do have the same foundation that Hung Vanngo uses. So I have here my Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation, and I have this in the shade Y255. So I have one of the brushes that he uses, and then the other one, I have the brush number 17 instead of the larger foundation brush that he's using. Now I'm just gonna squeeze one pump of that to start. And I'm just going to dot it all around my face like Hung Vanngo has done. Might need a little bit more after this. This shade is a little bit deep for me at the moment. I think my face looks slightly deeper than my neck, but I think it matches my arms pretty well. Let's bring a little bit of this down on my neck. Okay, so I think I need a little bit more coverage than Neva, so I'm going to go in with one more pump right here, just because I do have a lot of stuff happening on my face right now, and I know I'm gonna go in with some spot concealer later, but I just want a little bit more help. So I'm gonna do this with that patting motion that Hung Vanngo was doing to help enhance the coverage. And I'll also take some of this down my neck as well, so it's not too heavy. Alrighty, so here we are, foundation done. I do really like the finish that this foundation leaves. It's such a natural skin-like finish. So now let's go in and watch him apply the concealer. So I do have the brush that he's using from Rephr. This is the Rephr number 32, but I don't have the Makeup Forever concealer. So I thought today I would try my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away sample concealer. So I'm gonna open up this 4 Fair one, since I do want some brightening. So here's that shade. Hopefully it works. If not, I might dip into some of these others. So let me just first go in with a finger. Oh, this is a very dry formula. Okay, I think that dried out. Never mind, I will not be using the sample pack. That's unfortunate. All right, so because that Charlotte Tilbury one dried out, I'm gonna instead use my ABH Magic Touch Concealer in the shade 7. Comes with this huge doe foot, so I'm gonna use this to just dot around the eye area like I saw Hung Vanngo do. And using that rougher 32 brush, I'm gonna just push this product into the skin. And it's kind of funny, I originally bought this brush just because I was kind of intrigued by its hoof shape. I had never seen a hoof-shaped brush before, but I wasn't really sure what the best use case for this brush would be. So it actually was when I watched this video from Hung Vanngo that I was like, oh wow, this would be the perfect concealer brush. I think this is also a good brush for eyeshadow as well, but it doesn't really fit the typical techniques I use for eyeshadow, so I haven't used it as much for that purpose. But this is a really excellent, very intuitive concealer brush. So now let's also go in around the nose area, around the mouth, and then on all of these blemishes that I have. My skin has been pretty unhappy lately with the cold weather, and it's definitely been telling me that. All right, just gonna keep pushing that product into the skin. And one thing that I've noticed that a lot of makeup artists do is they avoid caking the face by just using kind of a sheer layer of foundation and then really going in with concealer for coverage and doing a lot of spot concealing. So I'm going to try to emulate that technique a little bit more today. Usually I don't really have the patience to go in and really spot conceal. But that's the point of today's video, to try to improve my technique and achieve a more perfected makeup look. Also, I am now realizing as I'm doing this spot concealing, it would be nicer if I had a slightly deeper concealer, because this concealer is one I primarily use for under eye brightening. And so it is kind of highlighting the areas where I have blemishes, which is not exactly what I'm going for. So note to self that if I decide to do my own makeup, I probably should buy a slightly deeper concealer as well. All right, 5 years of pouncing later, here is the finished foundation and concealer. So one thing I am noticing is there's a little bit of pilling near my hairline. So that probably just means that the skincare I used today did not agree very well with the foundation. In particular, I do find oftentimes with hyaluronic acid serums, at least on my skin, they do tend to lead to makeup pilling. So if I were doing this makeup look again, I probably would leave this out of my morning routine. But that's okay, this is not actually my wedding day, so we're just gonna keep on plowing ahead.
Using the Chanel cream bronzer.
So I do not have the Chanel bronzer. I have this bronzer from Trestique and this one from M Cosmetics. So I'm just going to go back in with my brush number 17. I cleaned some of the foundation off with a towel, but there's still a little bit of foundation on this. So let me just tap this onto the surface of this, then try to follow what Hung Vanngo did. So first just chisel out the jaw and then lightly tap it into the hollows of the cheeks. Okay, that was actually a little much. I should have taken a lighter hand. So let's try this part. So looking at this now, I do feel like this is maybe a little bit cool toned in comparison with what Hung Vanngo is going with. This color Terra works quite well for me in the winter time, but it might be a little bit cool toned if I get any tanner. I think with today's look, the cool tone is really coming out a little bit because this foundation is a little bit deep and warm on me. So this is not necessarily the most complimentary look, I would say. But that's okay, we're just gonna keep plowing ahead. It's funny, until quite recently, I basically never used cream bronzer or contour. But with this M Cosmetics one and this Trestique one, I've started incorporating this more into my routine just because I do see a lot of makeup artists use both cream and powder in their looks. All right, there we go. So here is the light contour. I try to keep it light because we will be going in with powder bronzer later on. Okay, liquid highlight time
This is the highlighter from Givenchy
with reference number 27. So the only liquid highlighter I have is this one from Rare Beauty in the shade Outshine. So it is very, very yellow. So we'll see. I'm not a huge fan of this formula or the shade, but it'll be covered up hopefully by some of the other products. And I don't have the same refer brush as Hung Vanngo for this, so I'm going to use the refer number 16. So I'm going to put this just on the back of my hand because as you can tell, there's a lot of product that comes out with this. Then using this, let's see how this goes. So I'm just going to tap this into this. Just going to lightly dab. As you can see, this is pretty intense highlight. So let's start on the high points of the cheeks. Okay, I think it's blending in nicely. That's good. Around where I have this angry pimple here, so I don't want to accentuate that. Then on the chin, and also down the bridge of the nose like he's done. And then he's doing a little bit on like this side as well, just around the upper part of the brow bone. So I'm just gonna do that as well. All right, this is actually looking better than I thought it would because the first time I used this highlight, I used it with a heavier hand, I think. So I wasn't using a really fluffy brush like today. And so the yellow was just really strong and I didn't really like the way it was looking. But today, I think with this fluffy brush, this is actually working out all right. It's blending in nicely into my skin, and I think because this foundation is a little bit on the deeper side for me, this is actually working out with the yellowy highlight. So there we go, have some of that gold all around. It's actually pretty subtle overall. I can't say that I really see it when I look at my mirror that's like a couple feet away from me. If I look close up, I can definitely see a little bit there, but not that much. So the natural light was getting too intense from that window, so I ended up closing it. So now let's move along to the powder portion.
For powder today, I'm going to use two different kind of powder.
So I don't have the Givenchy loose powder, so I'm going to go in with this mini Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. But I do have the Charlotte Tilbury powder. So let's first go in with a little bit of this loose powder. So I'm going to use my Vanngo Artist Medium brush in lieu of that small refer brush since I do not have that in my collection. And I'm just gonna sweep this underneath the eyes, and then lightly on the rest of my face as well.
I'm going to use...
Okay, I do have this bronzer, which is exciting. So I have here the Gucci bronzer in the shade 2. So the most similar brush I have is this Vanngo number 12 brush. So let's see, just gonna pat it in like Hung Vanngo is doing. And then he's just sweeping it like this. So in general, I do feel like my bronzer contour combo is kind of running a little bit on the cool side. So I would probably have used a less cool contour if I were using this bronzer. Because I do find the shade number 2 from Gucci is a little bit on the cooler side. Dabbing that in everywhere. I do find on this part of my face where I tried to pack on some of that concealer, now that I'm going on with all of these additional products, some of that concealer is lifting, so now you can see my blemishes again. So that is a little bit unfortunate. I am not quite sure what to do about that. If any of you have tips, please let me know, because I think at this point, if I went back in with more concealer, then that would not go very well. So it could just be that I should have used some more powder to really set that concealer. But you guys can probably tell this side of my face where I don't have pimples is looking pretty good. But this side, you can start seeing that redness again. And I'm not really sure how to cover that stuff up.
For eyebrows.
So I also have the ABH Brow Wiz. I have this in the shade dark brown. I'm gonna try to do those light strokes like Hung Vanngo is doing. Just really lightly sort of sweeping the brush back and forth. It's been a long time since I've used this ABH Brow Wiz. I'm using a lot of other products recently. I'd say it's a pretty nice product. I've forgotten how nice this Brow Wiz is. So here we have the Brow Wiz in the brows, and I do not have the Brow Freeze, so I'm gonna go in with my M Cosmetics Clear Brow Gel. And I don't think this has the same kind of hold that the Brow Freeze does, but this is my one clear brow gel, so we'll see. Every time I use this product, I feel like it doesn't really do very much for my brows, but I guess it's some slight additional assurance. All right, so now we're going in with eye primer. I do not have the Trish McEvoy, so I'm going in with my Urban Decay Primer Potion. And I'm just gonna sweep this on both sides. I guess I'll go back in with the rougher number 32. Not sure which brush he's using there.
For eyeshadow.
So I don't have that Chanel palette, but I do have the Tom Ford Honeymoon, which I think is a similar color story. So I don't have the rougher number 28, but I do have the rougher number 21 and the rougher number 1. So I'm going to try to emulate what he's doing. So I'm going to first go into this bronzy shade. And so he's bringing that along the lash line. This brush is a bit thinner and sharper than the 28 that he's using, but hopefully we can still achieve a similar effect. I'll probably have to go in with the 1 a little bit later. Yeah, this is definitely not looking quite like what Hung Vanngo is doing, but that's okay. And then he also ran this along the lower lash line. Okay, and he put that all the way along the lower lash line. Okay, now I'm going to take that rougher number 1, which is a little bit more fluffy. And so hopefully that helps with just blending everything out a little bit more. All right, gonna leave that first shade like that right now. All right, he didn't say what brush he's using, so looks kind of like a rougher number 13, maybe a 14. So I'm gonna go in with this shade over here. Oh, rougher number 14. Okay, so now with the rougher number 14, I'm gonna try to go in the inner corners and then along the lower lash line too. Then he's also sweeping it on the top. Okay, this shade's going everywhere. All right, the brow bone as well. Alrighty, I'm surprised he's going in with this on a rougher number 14, but I guess this really makes it nice and diffused. Because he did this so quickly, I'm like stressing a little bit and doing this probably not the most precisely, but I'm gonna go in actually with a rougher number 13 brush, which is a bit smaller, and just kind of refine the edges. Alrighty, so very sadly, I just realized that some of my footage did not get recorded, so unfortunately, here we are a few steps later in the process, but just to walk you guys through what I did. So first off, I went in with my Pat McGrath Permagel eyeliner, and I put this basically on my lids to do a little bit of a wing, and then I also tight lined and put a little bit of this in my waterline. And then I used my rougher number 26 brush to smudge out the part on my eyelashes. And I also went in with this deeper shade here to further smudge it out. I am seeing some gaps though, so let me continue adding just a little bit more of this here. And again, sorry guys that part somehow didn't film. I'm pretty sure I pressed record, but I don't know, sometimes things just don't work out in camera land, so sorry for that. But yeah, let me just try to really get in here. But you guys missed my first time ever trying to tight line, which was not the most comfortable experience, let's just say that. There's a reason I normally just go in with some liquid eyeliner and call it a day. So this part of the tutorial has definitely been the most challenging for me because I normally don't go in with some sort of creamy eyeliner that then I need to smudge out and stuff. I don't know, it's a lot more work from my perspective. I mean, I know the whole point is we're trying to go for that really effortless bridal look, so I get it. I know why we're doing it. It's for that sort of effect. But I will say for me, it is a bit challenging because this is the one part of the tutorial that's quite distinct from my normal routine. And this is just a clean Sonia G worker brush. Yeah, so this eye look is surprisingly quite difficult for me to achieve, even though it seems like it should just be like really, really simple. But I feel like getting a really nice smudge is kind of deceptively hard, at least if you don't normally do it. Alrighty, and let me just tightline a little bit more since you guys didn't get to see that part. Oh man, tightlining feels so weird. Yeah. Alrighty, so there we go. That is hopefully the eyes kind of coming together. So now let's return to the Hung Vanngo video and let's go into blush. So I don't have the Huda Beauty blush, so I'm going to go in with Nude Romance from Pat McGrath. I do have the Refer number 5 brush though. It's kind of funny, mine is so much puffier than his is because I've used this a lot and washed it a lot. But let me see if I can do that sort of patting motion that he's doing. And then concentrate this more on the higher parts of my cheeks like he's doing. This definitely has a nice sheen to it. Very nice for bridal. This brush is so fluffy at this point from all the washes that it definitely applies a pretty sheer layer of blush. So I am going in with a few more layers just because I do want that beautiful blushing bride sort of look. It's funny because when you watch the tutorials, you're not really struck by how quick everything is, but when you're actually trying to follow it in real time, you realize that there must be a lot of editing involved with these videos. All right, there we go. Nice, very blushed cheeks. So for highlighter, I do not have this Laura Mercier highlighter, but I do have a Pat McGrath highlighter that also has a rose gold effect. So I do not have that fan brush either. So let me just go in with this Refer number 4 brush, and I'm gonna just be kind of soft with it. Let's put it on the high points of the cheeks. I'm gonna take a light hand with this because this is a very big brush in comparison to that. I am realizing I didn't see him contour her nose. I wonder if he did that off screen. Well, that's okay. We'll leave out nose contour for today's look. So for the lips, I do have the exact same lip liner. So this Huda Beauty Honey Beige lip liner. But for lipstick, I'm going to go in with Mrs. Kisses from Charlotte Tilbury, since this is from her wedding line. So let me first just remove what's left of that lip balm because mine did have a tint to it. This is definitely very similar to my lip color. I'm not really seeing much of a difference, but I guess that's the point. Okay, I already used my Refer number 21 earlier for eyeshadow, so let me quickly clean that off so we can also use that now for the lipstick. I've actually never used this for lipstick before, so this will be an interesting experience. Alrighty, so let me see. I think I'm going to first apply this directly from the bullet and then refine it with the brush. Definitely this lip color is a little bit more vibrant than what Hung Vanngo went with, but that's okay. Just gonna sweep this around. I guess this does mean I need to wash this brush afterward. Definitely my laziness has thus far prevented me from using lip brushes. Alrighty, so here are the lips done, and I do not have Lashify, so I'm gonna go in and attempt to apply some falsies. So if you guys have watched my channel for a while, you know that I never do mascara, I never do falsies, I basically just do liquid eyeliner. So this is gonna push me out of my comfort zone. So we're gonna actually try to curl my lashes, and I have these Winsome lashes that I got from Ipsy. So as you can maybe see already, I tried using these Noble lashes before, but they were a little bit too big, so I need to cut them down a little bit more. So we're gonna do that and see how this goes. I am very intrigued by Lashify though, so if any of you have tried it, please let me know what you think. I think if I wasn't getting married and contemplating doing my own makeup, I would probably not be interested in Lashify because it seems like a lot of effort for someone who just, you know, normally doesn't do anything for their lashes. But I don't know, like if I do end up doing my own makeup, it does seem like Lashify might be preferable to falsies, so we'll see. Alright, so let me first just trim down these lashes. And I feel kind of weird filming this whole process because all of you are probably like, man, why am I watching this girl do makeup? She has no idea what she's doing. But in my defense, I am trying new techniques and I am not a trained makeup artist. So we are just trying to play around and see what happens. Alrighty, here's a trimmed down version. Let's see. Okay, hopefully that's a good size. Oh man, I have not done falsies in literally years. I did them for a friend's wedding where I was a bridesmaid, and that was the last time that I applied falsies to myself. So now let's go in with some lash glue. So I have this Winsome Lash Adhesive, and this dries clear. So I'm just going to apply a thin layer of this to the lash band. And I think it says it takes 30 seconds to dry, so let's just wait for that. And oh, actually, while I'm doing that, I should have curled my lashes. I totally forgot about that. So let's bring out the lash curler. So I have here my Shu Uemura lash curler, which I never use. So let's go at it. I'm such a wimp when it comes to curling my lashes. It's definitely not a step that I like. I also just find that, yeah, I'm not the best at it. It's hard for me to really get all of my lashes. I recently also tried the Rephr lash curler to see if it would be better than this one, but I do find that that one's a little bit big for my eyes. In general, with lash curlers, I find I either get the outer lashes or the inner lashes, but it's pretty hard for me to get both. I should probably get one of those smaller lash curlers. If you guys have small Asian eyes like me, let me know if you have any recommendations. But there we are. I don't know if you guys can really see my lashes. I actually do like my lashes. They're decently long, but they're just very straight. And I have never really found a mascara that holds them up very satisfactorily. Even with waterproof mascara, they tend to just fall down after a pretty short amount of time. So let's see. Hopefully that's been 30 seconds. So let's go in now with the right eye. Well, hopefully this is a bonding experience for all of us here, definitely. Oh my god, wow. That is a really intense lash. Okay, oh, wow. I do not know how I feel about that. Man, I am not used to seeing my eyes with huge eyelashes, and it doesn't help that I have basically no lower lashes. All right, let me take this off for now and then try again in a second. Whew, let me go in with the other side to see if we have any more luck. And worst comes to worst, I'll just apply some more eyeliner and then we'll just do it that way. So let me try the other side. Maybe I'll apply a little bit more lash glue to this side because I feel like with the other side, it just wasn't really sticking, especially on the edges. So I went off camera to do this eye and it's very intense. I mean, I think I successfully applied it and I guess it looks okay, but yeah, I don't know. It's really big and I feel like I can see the eyelash, which is kind of disconcerting. If you guys are really good at applying false lashes, please let me know. Did I do something wrong? Is this how it's supposed to look? Or is it just that these are really big for my eyes? Because I do feel like they are really, really big. So I'm not sure now if I should do the same on this side or if I just should take this off and do mascara. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is how it looks with these on. This is how it looks just with my bare lashes. For the sake of today's video, I suppose I'll try applying the other side again. I kind of feel bad about these lashes. They've gotten so many layers of glue on them at this point. Alright, so hopefully these have dried. So I'm going to try to apply these again. Maybe still a little bit on the wet side, but we'll see. Alright, are these even? I don't know, for some reason this side looks a lot less natural than this side to me. I feel like this is something I should have tried on a live instead, so I could get your guys's advice and feedback real time. I think maybe because this now has a few layers of dried glue on it, it's having a little bit of challenge really sticking to the eye. Either that or I'm just not waiting long enough for the glue to dry. I might have cut the side a little bit short. Let's just go in now with that rougher lash curler and try to squeeze my real lashes with these. Oh my gosh, okay, that just picked up that lash. Whoops, okay. Lashify is looking more and more appealing by the second. Okay, let me just take off these headphones now because I don't think we'll need these anymore. Okay, so I think this is the best that I'm gonna do with lashes realistically. I mean, I guess considering this is my first time doing lashes in, I don't know, how long has it been? Since like 2013, so I guess 8 to 9 years. I guess by those standards it's all right, but man, does it feel really weird to have these like obscuring my vision. I feel like I almost need to like open my eyes wider just to be able to see normally. But now let's go in with the lower lash line. I have very, very sparse and few lashes down there, so we'll see how this goes. But I have here my fetish size mascara from McGrath. This is actually a humongous wand, so I don't know if this is gonna work out, but let's try it out. Let's forget that, and instead let me just go in and try to clean up my lower lash line a little bit. Get rid of that smudged mascara down there. Alright, so I do want to just smoke out that lower lash line a little bit in order to better match the top. So with that reference number 26, I'm going back into that deep shade from the Tom Ford Quad. And I'm just adding a little bit of smoke down here. Alright, so now let's go into the second to last step, which is setting powder. So Hung Vanngo used the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush powder, which I have here in this Look of Love palette. So I'm just going to use this to just set my T-zone area, anywhere where I might get a little sweaty and dewy over the course of the day. Definitely under the eye area, since there's a lot going on down there. And so with that out of the way, let's go in with some setting spray. So I have here my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. So let's just spritz this. Okay, so while we're waiting for the setting spray to dry down, let's go ahead and just talk about my overall thoughts and reflections after today's tutorial. So first off, I definitely learned that doing a full face of bridal makeup is a lot harder than it looks, even if you're trying to do just like very simple, effortless makeup. I mean, my desk looks like a complete disaster right now with all the products. And I mean, these are all the brushes I used for today's look. So yeah, there's a lot of brush cleaning that needs to happen after this. I will also say, as fun as it is to learn new makeup techniques, doing them on camera as part of a full face of makeup is maybe not the most advisable thing. So today's video was a bit more stressful than my typical videos. But that said, I am glad that I tried to do this and follow a tutorial. I think I learned a lot about different techniques that I don't normally do. I think with makeup, it's really easy to kind of fall into a routine and just kind of always do the same steps. And when you watch someone else doing makeup, you might notice that there are some slight differences here and there, but until you actually try to follow the tutorial, those differences don't necessarily become the most apparent. In today's look, definitely the parts that I found to be the most tricky were, for one, really creating a very flawless base. So wherever I have pimples, I do feel like I didn't do the best job at covering them. With the concealer, I applied a few layers, but after everything else on my face, I do feel like I kind of picked up some of that concealer. So now, especially on this side of my face, you can definitely see the redness here and here. So that's one area where I think I could benefit from learning some better techniques. Also, my skincare and makeup didn't quite agree, so especially over here, I did get a decent amount of pilling shortly after I applied the foundation. So it is just really important to experiment with your skincare and makeup and make sure that you find a combo that works really well before the big day. Other than that, definitely the parts that were trickiest for me were with the eyes. And so that was kind of surprising to me because I love eye makeup and I think of myself as having decent eyeshadow skills. But definitely trying out someone else's techniques was a little bit difficult. For me, the hardest part was applying that pencil eyeliner and smudging it out. I'm actually glad that with the lashes you can't really see as clearly that part of my look, because I feel like it took me a really long time to really blend out that smudge, and so I'm not really sure if I did that correctly. And then definitely the hardest part by far was these lashes, which I feel like I keep having to push up a bit just because it does really bother me how they obstruct my vision. If you guys wear falsies, let me know. Is that normal? Do they always like obstruct your vision? Or if you apply them correctly, do they not? It just makes me feel like I have like a really low hat that's kind of, you know, cutting off part of my vision. So I don't know, it'll be interesting for me later on to review this footage to see how these lashes look from an outsider perspective, because at least for me right now, they just feel really weird on. Also, I definitely think these lashes are way too big for my eyes. I mean, they're definitely glam. They're definitely very intense, but I do wish they were shorter and lighter and smaller. I guess as someone who never normally wears lashes, it is just kind of jarring to have something so big and voluminous. But overall, we made it to the end of the video, and I think the look I created was decent. I think it kind of captures the overall vibe of the Hung Vanngo look. Definitely not as well executed by any means. I like to think that if I was doing this off camera, it might have turned out a little bit better, just because I was sort of harried at various points during the filming, because, you know, he'll just do a step in like 5 seconds and then I'll be like still looking for my brushes. And so originally I thought I could do this a little bit more in real time, so it'd be more like a reaction video plus tutorial. But instead, I'm honestly not sure what I'm going to do with the editing of this. It'll be a mystery to all of us what the end product looks like. I definitely, through this process though, have gained an appreciation for the work that bridal makeup artists do. I mean, I've always appreciated that, but you know, like bridal makeup tends to look very simple, so it's very easy to underestimate it and think, oh well, you know, obviously I could do a look like that. But I think given the time pressure and given just all the steps involved in creating a flawless base, it is actually really difficult, and I'm not really sure if I want to do this on my big day. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think about this video, if you guys would be interested in this being more like a series. Hindash, who is another makeup artist I really love, also has a bridal tutorial that I'm interested in. So if you're interested in this format of video, I might do one with the Hindash video as well. If not, I might just do this on my own time and try to, work on perfecting my skills a little bit more. But thank you all so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If you guys have experience in the bridal makeup area, please let me know if you have any comments or suggestions down below. If you got married, I would love to know if you got a makeup artist. If so, how was your experience? Or if you did your own makeup, how was that? Would you recommend that? And there were a lot of flaws, I know, in my technique today, so I'm always down to learn more. So if you guys are makeup artists, would love to know in the comments down below any tips or suggestions you might have. So thanks so much again for watching to the end of today's video, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!